With over 3 million words, how remarkable is Zizhi Tongjian? This monumental history, spanning a millennium, has sold millions and shaped Chinese political culture for 2,000 years. Why was Zizhi Tongjian a must-read for emperors and generals, and how does it reveal the secrets of rise and fall? Let's step into Sima Guang's historical world to explore the brilliance of this king of chronicles, a pen like a blade, Sima Guang's grand historical vision. In the northern Song dynasty, Sima Guang spent 19 years crafting Zizhi Tongjian, a chronicle spanning 1,362 years from the Warring States to the Five Dynasties. Its purpose, as stated, is to learn from the past to aid governance. Why did Sima Guang write this comprehensive history? The answer lies in his grand historical vision. History is not a pile of scattered events but a river of cause and effect, revealing patterns of rise and fall. Born in 1019, Sima Guang, a Jinshi scholar under Emperor Shenzong, served 4 emperors, rising to left vice-director of the Secretariat. He witnessed the Song dynasty's growing poverty and weakness, threatened by Liao and Xia states, with internal and external crises mounting. As a conservative leader, he opposed Wang Anshi's reforms, believing radical changes would destabilize the state. In 1070, due to political differences, he retired to Luoyang and devoted himself to compiling Zizhi Tongjian. He wrote, "I wish to study the traces of past rise and fall, and discern the proper path for today's order and chaos." This was not just a personal ambition but a response to a troubled era. The core of Zizhi Tongjian lies in its comprehensive approach. It breaks the limits of dynastic histories, using an annalistic style to connect 16 dynasties, covering politics, military, economy, and culture. Sima Guang wrote in his memorial to the throne, "All that concerns the state's rise and fall, or the people's well-being, is thoroughly discussed." This panoramic approach makes history a mirror, reflecting the laws of order and chaos. For example, the Qin dynasty fell quickly due to harsh policies, while the early Han's rest and recovery restored strength. Tang Taizong's wise appointments led to the Hongguan era, but the Anshi rebellion caused collapse due to regional warlords. Sima Guang shows us, governing is like cooking a delicate dish. Balance is key for longevity. Compared to records of the grand historian, Zizhi Tongjian is more practical. Records focuses on individuals, expressing Sima Guang's patriotic passion. Zizhi Tongjian centers on events, analyzing institutional and policy successes and failures. Emperor Shenzong exclaimed, "This book is truly a treasure for governance." Zhu Shi of the Southern Song called it a wellspring of governing principles. It's not just a history but a textbook for rulers, influencing Chinese political culture for a millennium. Why does Zizhi Tongjian endure? Its insight into human nature and power. Sima Guang wrote, "The flaw of rulers lies in loving flattery and hating frankness." He exposes leaders' weakness for sycophancy, warning against deceitful advisors. This understanding of human nature makes Zizhi Tongjian a timeless mirror of wisdom. The compilation process is a legend itself. Sima Guang gathered historians like Liu Ban, Liu Shu, and Fan Zuyu, dividing tasks and cross-referencing sources from records of the Grand Historian to Book of Jin, official records to unofficial notes. Each morning in Luoyang's academy, he and his team reviewed drafts, scrutinizing every word for accuracy. Once, debating the Han dynasty's Wugu calamity, assistants clashed. Sima Guang consulted Book of Han, confirming Zhang Chong's false accusation against the crown prince, ensuring a fair account. This rigor made Zizhi Tongjian a model of historiography. 3 questions of order and chaos, patterns of rise and fall. Zizhi Tongjian spans the Warring States to the 5 dynasties, chronicling 16 dynasties' rises and falls. Sima Guang distills 3 key questions: how to select and appoint the capable, how to balance leniency and severity, how to handle external threats and internal strife. These questions, woven through a millennium of history, still enlighten us today. 1. Selecting the capable, the key to prosperity. Those who gain talent prosper, those who lose it perish. Sima Guang stresses talent's role in a nation's fate. Han Gaozu, a commoner, succeeded by appointing Hao He, Han Xin, and Hang Liang. Volume 1 records Liu Bang saying, "For strategy and victory, I'm no match for Hang Liang. For governing and nurturing people, Shao He surpasses me. For leading armies to triumph, Han Xin is unmatched." His wise appointments built the Han dynasties for 00-year legacy. In contrast, Qin's second emperor Hu Hai favored eunuch Hao Gao, sidelining loyal Li Si, leading to chaos. Volume 6 recounts Xiao Gao's pointing at a deer, calling it a horse test, silencing honest officials, hastening Qin's fall. Sima Guang comments, "A ruler's greatest peril is trusting sycophants." Selecting talent is not only key to governance but also modern management. In 2010, Apple's Steve Jobs built a stellar team, launching the iPhone 4, dominating the smartphone era. Nokia, however, clung to outdated leadership, missing the smartphone wave and fading from the market. Sima Guang also notes that talent selection must suit the times. In Han Wudi's era, Hu Fuyan's decree of grace weakened feudal lords, strengthening central power, a brilliant move. But in Tang Xuanzong's time, Hang Juling's warning against appointing in Lushan was ignored, leading to the Anshi rebellion. Sima Guang laments, "The art of employing people lies in knowing them. Talent must match ability, loyalty, and timing. Incentives are also critical." Volume 6 records Tang Taizong establishing the Lingyan Pavilion to honor 20 for meritorious officials, boosting morale and stabilizing power. In contrast, Jin Wudi, after conquering Wu, alienated his vassals, sowing seeds for the Eight Princes Rebellion. In 2004, Google used stock options to attract top engineers, developing its search algorithm and dominating the internet. Motorola, neglecting talent incentives, stagnated and declined. Sima Guang's wisdom reminds us, selecting talent is easy, retaining it is hard, and incentives require care. 2. Balancing leniency and severity, governing like cooking a delicate dish. Governance requires balancing leniency and severity for lasting stability. Sima Guang stresses this balance repeatedly. Volume 4 records Tang Taizong, advised by Wei Zheng, ruling with leniency, reducing taxes, and ushering in the Hongguan era. He said, "A bronze mirror adjusts your appearance. History's mirror reveals rise and fall." His openness to advice fostered talent and prosperity. But excessive leniency breeds disaster. Han Wendi's kindness reduced penalties but let local powers run unchecked. Volume 14 recounts Chao Kuo's warning, reducing feudal power is feasible, but delay is fatal. Han Wendi's hesitation sparked the Seven States Rebellion. Sima Guang comments, excessive leniency leads to weakness. Conversely, harsh rule is equally flawed. Qin Shi Huang's book burnings and brutal laws sparked rebellion, ending the dynasty into generations. Sima Guang concludes, balancing leniency and severity, like harmonizing yin and yang, is the way to govern. This balance applies to military leadership too. Volume 120 records Wu's Sun Quan treating generals kindly, earning loyalty from El Meng and Luzon, who defeated stronger foes. In contrast, Shu's Liu Bei, stubborn in his later years, attacked Wu and lost at Yiling, weakening his state. Sima Guang sighs, leniency gathers people, severity restores order. In modern management, balance is key. In 1998, Microsoft's Bill Gates fostered a creative culture while enforcing strict performance reviews, building a software empire. Yahoo, overly lax, lost discipline and competitive edge. In 2008, Federal Reserve Chair Ben Bernanke's loose monetary policy spurred recovery but fueled asset bubbles. In the 1980s, Margaret Thatcher's tough reforms in the UK sparked strikes and unrest. Imbalance in either direction spells trouble. Zizhi Tongjian teaches, governance is like cooking a delicate dish, timing and balance are everything. 3. External threats and internal strife, the test of governance. External threats and internal strife test a nation's fate. Sima Guang records countless cases of crisis management. Volume 266 recounts Tang Xuanzong's late reign, indulging Yang Guofei and favoring Li Linfu and Yang Guozong, leading to corruption. And Lushan seized the chance, capturing Chang'an, triggering the Anshi rebellion. Sima Guang condemns, a ruler lost in luxury breeds chaos. Internal strife invites external threats. In contrast, Han Wudi decisively appointed Huo Qubing and Wei Qing, defeating the Hongnu and securing the Hexi corridor, ensuring a century of stability. Sima Guang praises, address danger decisively, and the state endures. In 2014, Sierra Leone's President Ernest Koroma swiftly contained the Ebola outbreak with lockdowns and international aid, earning global praise. In 2020, some nations' slow COVID-19 response led to widespread harm. Addressing both internal and external challenges turns crises into opportunities. Sima Guang notes external threats often stem from internal issues. Volume 195 records Wei's Emperor Cao Rui indulging in luxury and favoring sycophants, weakening the court. Xu's Hujliang exploited this, launching northern campaigns, straining Wei. Sima Guang comments, without internal order, external threats arise. Corruption and division fuel internal strife. Volume 270 recounts Tang Xuzong's reliance on uniquely Fuguo, causing chaos and worsening warlord divisions. Sima Guang laments, misusing people breeds disaster. In 2011, Tunisia's corruption sparked the Arab Spring, spreading unrest. Singapore, since 1965, under Lee Kuan Yew, curbed corruption and united races, creating an economic miracle. Zizhi Tongjian warns, without internal order, external threats prevail. A gallery of figures, mirrors of history. Zizhi Tongjian is not just a record of events but a portrait of human triumphs and flaws. Through emperors, ministers, sycophants, and rebels, Sima Guang reveals humanity's light and shadow. Here are 5 figures whose stories distill the wisdom of order and chaos. 1. Li Shimin, the enlightened ruler. Tang Taizong Li Shimin shines as Zizhi Tongjian's greatest ruler. Volume 192 records his early reign, marked by diligence and openness to advice. Wei Zheng criticized his love for hunting. Li Shimin humbly reformed, appointing Wei as a remonstrance official. He employed Fang Zunling and Du Ruhui, enacted fair laws, and reduced taxes, ushering in the Hongguan era. Sima Guang praises, Taizong's success lay in wise appointments and balanced rule. His strength was merit-based leadership. He embraced former rivals like Wei Zheng and entrusted Fang Zunling with administration, Du Ruhui with strategy. In 1997, Apple's Steve Jobs, facing bankruptcy, hired Tim Cook and Jony Ive, creating the iPod and iPhone, reviving Apple. Li Shimin's lesson: great leaders value ability over background. Yet, he faltered late in life, favoring Changsan Wuji and sidelining loyalists, sparking court disputes. Sima Guang warns, rulers must avoid favoritism. Even Li Shimin, after the Xuanwu Gate incident, killing his brother and forcing his father's abdication, reflected, "My mistakes haunt me." His self-awareness makes him greater still. 2. And Lushan, the tragedy of a warlord. And Lushan is Zizhi Tongjian's most controversial figure. Volume 216 records his rise as a Hu general, gaining Tang Xuanzong's favor through valor and flattery, becoming governor of Fanyang. His ambition grew, exploiting court corruption to launch the Anshi rebellion, capturing Chang'an. Sima Guang blames, the rebellion began with Xuanzong's folly. And Lushan's tragedy stems from ambition and a flawed era. He flattered his way to power but lacked governance skills, his rebellion collapsing amid internal strife, ending with his son's betrayal. His story echoes Napoleon, whose military genius led to empire but whose overreach ended in exile at Waterloo. The rebellion exposed systemic flaws. Xuanzong's trust in Hu generals ignored warlord risks. Sima Guang warns, unexamined appointments breed chaos. In 2008, Lehman Brothers CEO Richard Ford's reckless expansion triggered bankruptcy, sparking a global crisis. and Lushan's loyalty and betrayal intertwine. Volume 18 notes his early military successes, earning trust. His rebellion brewed from accumulated grievances and opportunity. Sima Guang sighs, if rulers misjudge hearts, loyalists can turn rebels. Trust requires discernment. 3. Wang Anshi, the double-edged sword of reform. Wang Anshi is Zizhi Tongjian's most debated reformer. Volume 209 records his new policies under Emperor Shenzong, including the green sprout and equal transport laws, aiming to enrich and strengthen the state. Early success filled treasuries and bolstered the military, but hasty implementation provoked resistance and unrest, leading to failure. Sima Guang critiques, Anshi's policies failed for rushing. His downfall was ignoring balance, sidelining dissent, and splitting the court. Sima Guang laments, governance requires unity. Reforms must suit the times and stakeholders. In 1991, Gorbachev's radical Soviet reforms triggered economic collapse and dissolution. Yet, in 2018, China's state-owned enterprise reforms, blending boldness with caution, succeeded. Wang Anshi's courage is admirable. He challenged entrenched issues to break Song's stagnation. Though defeated, his legacy inspired later reforms. After failure, he retired to Jiangning, writing poetry, "The rivers and mountains are like a painting, their people even more splendid." Sima Guang, despite opposing him, admired his talent, calling him ambitious and gifted. Reformers need both resolve and wisdom. 4. Huo Qubing, the legendary young hero. Huo Qubing is Zizhi Tongjian's brightest young hero. Volume 22 records him, at 17, leading 800 cavalry against the Hongnu, killing thousands, earning the title Champion Marquis. In 6 campaigns, he secured the Hexi Corridor, ensuring a century of Han stability. Sima Guang praises, Qubing's feats mark him a youthful hero. His success lay in daring and loyalty. He boldly declared, "While the Hongnu remain, I have no home." His long-range, surprise tactics stunned enemies. Volume 2 recounts the Battle of Mobei, where he annihilated 70,000 enemies, sealing his legacy at Langjutsu. In 1944, Allied General George Patton's blitzkrieg echoed Huo's tactics. Yet Huo died at 24. Sima Guang mourns, "Heaven envies talent, granting short lives." His brief life reminds us to seize time. In 2012, Elon Musk, at 42, launched Tesla's Model S, revolutionizing cars, his longer life-sustaining innovation. 5. Yang Guozong, the fall of a sycophant. Yang Guozong is Zizhi Tongjian's archetype of a corrupt minister. Volume 217 records him, Yang Guofei's brother, rising to right chancellor through nepotism, dominating the court. His greed and purges fueled Lushan's rebellion. Fleeing to Mawei during the Anshi rebellion, he was killed by enraged soldiers. Sima Guang condemns, Guozong's crimes doomed the state. His fall stemmed from greed and incompetence. Volume 216 notes his embezzlement of military funds, sparking border unrest, paving the way for rebellion. His story recalls Enron's 2001 collapse, where CEO Kenneth Lay's fraud triggered bankruptcy. Yang Guozong lacked self-awareness, believing his power unassailable while losing public trust. Sima Guang warns, favoring sycophants endangers the state. In 2019, a politician's nepotistic appointments sparked protests, forcing resignation. Power demands restraint, trust discernment. History's mirror, lessons from past to present. Zizhi Tongjian is more than a record, it's a mirror for governance. Sima Guang writes, history as a mirror reveals rise and fall. A millennium later, its wisdom guides individuals, organizations, and nations. 1. Personal growth. Learn from mistakes. Li Shimin's openness to advice created a golden age. Han Jingdi learned from Chao Kuo's death to quell rebellion. Sima Guang concludes, to know and correct errors is the greatest virtue. In 2004, Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg faced privacy backlash but reformed, making Facebook a global giant. In 20, Uber CEO Travis Kalanick ignored cultural issues, leading to scandals and his exit. Admitting and fixing mistakes is the cornerstone of success. Reflection needs action. Volume 255 records Tang Taizong visiting borders to understand people, earning loyalty. In 20, Microsoft's Satya Nadella, reflecting on stagnation, pivoted to cloud computing, pushing Microsoft's value past $2 trillion. Kodak, ignoring digital cameras, went bankrupt. Reflection and action drive progress. 2. Organizational management, talent and balance. Organizations rise or fall on talent. Han Gaozu's wise appointments built an empire. Tang Xuanzong's missteps caused chaos. In 2001, Google's Larry Page hired Eric Schmidt as CEO, leveraging expertise to dominate tech. Yahoo's infighting led to its decline. Balance is critical. In 20, Amazon's Jeff Bezos eased high-pressure policies with flexible work, boosting morale and hitting $1 trillion valuation. In 20, WeWork's reckless expansion led to a failed IPO. Zizhi Tongjian teaches, talent and balance are the wings of success. Culture matters too. Volume 257 records Tang Taizong's integrity inspiring loyal troops. Bin Hadi's favoritism scattered loyalty, weakening the state. In 2013, Netflix's freedom and responsibility culture attracted talent, dominating streaming. Enron's corrupt culture led to collapse. Culture is the soul of organizations. 3. National governance. Address internal and external challenges. National success requires tackling both internal and external issues. Han Wudi's campaigns and reforms built a golden age. Tang Xuanzong's neglect led to decline. In the 1990s, Singapore's Lee Kuan Yew combined anti-corruption with openness, creating an economic miracle. Venezuela's corruption and isolation caused collapse. In 2019, New Zealand's Jacinda Ardern swiftly banned guns post-terror attack, earning global respect. Some nations, mismanaging COVID-19, faced division. Zizhi Tongjian teaches, treat both symptoms and root causes for lasting prosperity. Foresight is key. Volume 2 records Han Wudi establishing academies, fostering talent for cultural strength. Sui Yangdi's reckless wars ended his dynasty. In 2010, China's Thousand Talents Plan boosted innovation. Some nations, neglecting education, lag in competitiveness. Foresight ensures endurance. 4. Social harmony, people as the foundation. People determine a nation's fate. Volume 258 records Tang Taizong reducing taxes, earning peace and prosperity. Sui Yangdi's lavish projects sparked rebellion, ending his rule. Sima Guang concludes, the people are the state's foundation. A solid base ensures stability. In 2009, Brazil's Lula aided millions of poor families, driving growth. In 2019, Chile's fare hikes sparked riots, eroding trust. Losing the people risks the state. Fairness fosters harmony. Volume 262 records Tang Taizong's harsh officials sparking rebellion, while Song Renzong's fair laws brought prosperity. In 2014, South Africa's Nelson Mandela promoted racial reconciliation, earning global respect. Some nations, with unfair justice, face division. Fairness is harmony's foundation. Practical wisdom. Living Zizhi Tongjian. Zizhi Tongjian's wisdom isn't just for rulers, it's for everyone. How can we apply this millennium-old mirror to daily life? Here are 3 paths to ignite your wisdom. 1. Reflect and iterate. Learn from history. Sima Guang says, history as a mirror reveals rise and fall. Reflection is growth's starting point. Volume 253 records Tang Taizong's daily self-examination, improving governance. Try weekly reflection. What decisions did I misjudge? How can I improve? In 20, Tesla reflected on autopilot crashes, upgrading systems, cementing its lead. Iteration follows reflection. Volume 16 records Han Wudi learning from the Wugu calamity, adjusting appointments to stabilize the court. In 2018, ByteDance refined Douyin's algorithm based on feedback, dominating globally. Reflection and iteration propel you forward. 2. Know and use talent, leverage strengths. Zizhi Tongjian teaches, no one succeeds alone. Leverage others' strengths. Han Gaozu relied on Hao He's strategy and Han Xin's valor to build an empire. Find your Hao He and Han Xin mentors, reliable partners, or diverse friends. In 2017, Airbnb's Brian Chesky hired financial experts, ensuring a successful IPO. Knowing and using talent multiplies success. Incentives matter. Volume 256 records Tang Taizong rewarding vassals, boosting loyalty. In 2018, Huawei's bonuses and promotions drove 5 grams innovation, leading globally. Inspiring others amplifies your impact. 3. Balance leniency and severity, the art of equilibrium. Governance needs balance, so does life. Volume 250 for records Tang Taizong's kindness and anti-corruption measures fostering prosperity. Be kind to friends to build trust, strict with goals to achieve. In 2018, Google's creative culture paired with OKR discipline drove innovation. Some teams, overly lax or harsh, falter. Balance requires adaptability. Volume 14 records Han Wendy tightening lax policies with Chao Kuo, stabilizing the state. In 2020, a startup cut costs while investing in R&D during COVID, thriving against odds. Dynamic balance ensures success. Conclusion. The starry sky of history, the light of wisdom. Zizhi Tongjian is a timeless book of wisdom. It mirrors history, revealing patterns of order and chaos. It reflects humanity's brilliance and flaws. Sima Guang's 19-year labor left a guide for governance. From Li Shimin's wise leadership to Wang Anshi's reform struggles to Lushan's tragic rebellion, each story reminds us, history mirrors the past and guides the future. In today's fast-changing world, Zizhi Tongjian's wisdom shines. Whether you're a professional seeking growth, a leader guiding teams, or a thinker caring for society, this book lights your path. Sima Guang writes, "The way to order or chaos lies in the heart." Let history guide you, drawing on a millennium of wisdom to write your own legend under its starry sky. Start today, read a passage from Zizhi Tongjian, note a resonant line, and ask, what does this history teach me? These sparks will kindle a light to illuminate your life. History's starry sky is open to all who dare to explore.